Morning, hope you're well. This is just a quick video to go through the quickest route up Scafell Pike. It's to help people who are just going to do the climb themselves or take part in the National Three Peaks and do all three. We're going to go from the National Trust car park. Very narrow road, so you can't be in a hurry here, and you head to the far end of Wast Water. Take a right, and then there's a bridge. Now we're in a VW T6, so you can get a decent sized vehicle over here. You don't turn left into the campsite, but you carry straight on and then into the car park. Now it's £7 for 4 hours, £9 all day. If you're a National Trust member, it's free. The car park is what 3 words? Contained.represent.cats. We're heading to the far end of the car park through the gap in the fence. And for this walk, we'll be starting at the far side where the yellow arrow is pointing and going left there. There's a sign a couple of years ago, it used to say footpath to Scafell Pike on that sign. In 2023, I've noticed that they've changed the sign and it now just says Eskdale and Mitterdale, 4 miles. And just in summary, highlighted here in red is where we're starting, and then the path is highlighted in red that will take to the summit of Scafell Pike. In summary, if you look at the climb on the Garmin, you can see it's a constant ascent. So you're starting through Brackenclose, Lingham Brown Tong, then Hollerstones, and then Lingham Col, and then on up to Scafell Pike summit, 978 metres. Now, if you're doing the 3 peaks, you're aiming to do this in less than 4 hours. Alternatively, what 3 words Ali vote thanks is for Wasdale Head. There's a free car park there. Obviously, it's slightly further to the summit. You're going to add a couple of miles, and you're just going to follow the signs for Lingham and Scafell Pike on the signs. Now, that is a longer route. It isn't the quickest route up, but it's free parking. If you've got a bigger vehicle, then it's easier to park there. But anyway, for the purpose of this video, we're going back through the gap at the end of the National Trust car park, over to the far side. We'll take one last look over Wast Water, glorious morning, and then start ascent. Now, we're taking the route up on the right side of the stream, which can also be a river depending on the weather. You can also walk on the left-hand side of this as well. They do ask in one of the signs if you're doing this route at night to go on the left hand side of the river, just further away from the accommodation that you just saw on the right hand side there. You get a little bit of shade in this area, but once you're out of this section you're pretty much in the sun up for the rest of the climb. So we're just going to head over this bridge. If you'd taken the left hand side of the stream, obviously you'd be coming up at the top of that bank ahead of us. So that's 0.2 miles. You're crossing that from the car park. I'd say I started just by the sign, my GPS. So the path is normally maintained very well. Good training for this is, if you're a member of a gym, get on the Stairmaster. I mean, you're hitting this, if you're doing the 3 peaks, you're hitting this climb. It's always the second one, whether you're doing it Snowdon, Scafell Pike, and then Ben Nevis, or if you're doing it the most common way, Ben Nevis, Scafell and Snowdon. So you've always got one big climb in your legs. Obviously this is the smallest of the 3 climbs, but so for a good mile or so you are just literally climbing up hills. So if you're a member of a gym, get on that Stairmaster. I just take a quick look round now, you can see the elevation we've gained. We can see Wast Water in the distance already. So back onto the climb, keeping the stream to the right. Again, The amount of water coming down there is dependent on the weather. We're climbing this, it's a glorious day, but it can be quite treacherous. So 0.61 miles here. If we just look up, we're going to go through a gate, and this is the end of Bracken Close, and we're starting Lingwell Gill. So you're now totally in the open, so it's really important that you keep hydrated during this climb. Again, mentioning back, if you're doing the National Three Peaks, you would have already done one climb. It's really important to stay hydrated, so you need a couple of litres and drink regularly. This is amazing how much you do sweat, especially with a rucksack on your back. You take a look at the landscape here, you see there's a clear path to follow, so even if you're ascending and descending this one in the dark, which is quite common, you don't have to climb any of the three mountains in the dark if you manage the three peaks correctly. I'll talk about that in a bit. So this is the section where it crosses the stream stroke river, depending on the weather, in Lingwell Gill, and then we're heading up to Brown Tong. So this is 0.82 miles. Now, it has been known that on really bad days, people have had to call mountain rescue to help them and assist them get back over this, or because they've climbed and then they've had really heavy rain and then they've come to descend and got to this point, and it is just literally a really fast flowing river here, which has over the years caused several call outs for the mountain rescue to get the people down the mountain. So again, really go with the weather, go with the conditions. If it is really treacherous, there's always another day, isn't there, to climb the mountain. So if we take another look round now, you can see Wast Water in the distance, so you can see the elevation gained, and this is what is today a stream, but could potentially be a river crossing, subject to the weather. So we continue climbing now up Brown Tong, keeping the stream and waterfalls to our right, and as you can see, it's still like going upstairs, simple as. So you're feeling this in your legs, your calves, and if you are doing the National Three Peaks, you do feel this. You want to aim, if you're doing the Three Peaks, to be up and down here in 4 hours. So at 1 mile here, looking back down, that's the amount of ascent we've gained so far. And off we go again, continuing now. So it's 1.17 miles, and you can see it's still steps. Again, keep hydrated. You've got no shade at all really on this on this climb, so it's just keep soldiering on and stepping up those steps. So again, if we look at the watch, 1.29 miles, still climbing. Now, as you can see, the people right in the distance, the two dots at the top of the climb. This is where we get to the end of Brown Tong and we get to Hollowstones Junction. Now, it's really important to go left at Hollowstones Junction. It's a wide junction, so keep to the left. Don't go right, because we're taking the quickest route up. You can go right, but it's a lot steeper climb and harder to navigate, especially in the dark. So this is heading towards Hollowstones now. We've forked off to the left. Again, still climbing. You can see here the path is more small boulders, rocks, and if you are climbing in the dark, it is harder to navigate. If we have a quick look round now just to see the ascent, that's Wast Water. The path is not as easy to follow, especially in the wet, but when it's dry you can see a slightly lighter colour for the actual route. So 1.48 miles here, we're going to be aiming to go basically straight on to the middle of these two summits. On the right, we've got the Scafell Pike, and then on the left, you've got Lingmau. And you obviously will need to go right. So at 1.5 miles here, there's a big rock just as a marker, and then just another one just after it here. So it's just worth just using as a marker. So that's 1.51 miles. So if you're starting at that sign where I did, that's what you can use as a landmark just to ensure you're going the right route. So at 1.63 miles here, again still climbing, you can see the start of some new path work. So by the time you've watched this video, the new path on the left, which is currently fenced off, may be finished, and that might be the active path. But for now, as of July 2023, the path is still fenced off, the new one to the left, and we're just following up the older one on the right hand side. You can see all the bags that have been dropped off full of stones for the construction of the new section. So that's 1.74 miles. Again, there's a stream here, but as I say, because it's so dry, there was no water flowing today. So then we hit the switchbacks here and continue to carry up, but slightly easier going this part, not so rocky. I know some people that have got lost climbing this on the National Three Peaks and say either summited on Lingmau or just basically lost the route, the actual route to follow. And as I mentioned earlier, it is possible to climb all the three peaks in the daylight. If you are aiming to do the three peaks around June 21st, June 22nd-ish, it's obviously the longest days of the year, so you're getting the most daylight. If you're working your way down, you can start, say, Ben Nevis in the afternoon, about 5 o'clock time. You can ascend then and get back down and back in your vehicle for about 10 p.m. And then you can make the drive then when it's dark. Okay, so 2 miles here. We're just getting near the top of the Lingmau Col where we're going to take a right. So where that guy is up in front of me now, that's where you're going to be aiming to take a right. This large rock here to 2.2 miles. We call this one Natalie Rock because I remember once we came up here and my daughter decided she was not going to go to the summit, so she sat on this rock and watched Spider-Man while we summited, and then we came back down and met up, and then we walked back down to the base again. So 2.26 miles. You've got cliffs on the right here. But you're tracking those cliffs up now. As you probably notice, less and less grass now. It's more rock fields, small boulders. So we've got 2.27 miles now, hour and 46 minutes. So we're not far off the summit now. So just keeping the cliff to your right here and keep ascending. Just got to watch your ankles on this bit, it's more of a boulder field. So if you've got a good size, if your dog's a normal sort of sized dog, then there's no problem. Can be a little bit harsh on the paws if they're not used to it. Smaller dogs, obviously, they might need a carry. This is my favourite view here now as we approach the top. This is obviously a view over to Glamora and the high rays. I just find that an absolutely stunning view. And as you can see now, there's not much grass now visible. It's mainly just rock fields. But on a dry day you can see that the path is still visible to follow. It's a slightly lighter grey, 2.46 miles now. And it's not long now until you can actually see the summit. So you just keep on again, decent shoes and take fluids. It's just important to stay hydrated. Just around the 2-hour mark here, 2.55 miles. As we look up, you can just see the summit starting to come into view. Starts to level off here. Now it's, I won't say it's flat, but it's flatter. Again, you can make out the path. The trodden route is slightly lighter grey, not so easily visible when it's raining. Quite exposed up here, obviously. You can see Sellafield over at the distance of the sea. Here we are, so we're just over 2 hours here, 2.67 miles. And we're just going to go up now to the summit again, watching your ankles. At this point, your legs are a bit tired and you want to get to the summit, but just beware that you need to just keep an eye on where you're walking, because these little rocks and boulders, they're not fixed. They all do move, so you don't want to be injuring yourself with the end in sight. So just keep your wits about you and concentrate basically on your footing.
Yeah.
There we go, 2.67 miles, almost there now. I'd say the summit is definitely the least busy out of the three. It's obviously the smallest. The most commercial is obviously Snowdon. Depending what route you go there, you can get 2 cafes in, because both are open now. Ben Nevis, again, it's quite a commercial one. No restaurants or any cafes at the top there, but and this one is probably the quietest out of the three, I find. Just a 360, nice views there. Glorious day. So we just have a drink and a quick snack up here now. Just take in the sights. Feel satisfied because obviously we've got to the top again. I do like walking up here. And for the purpose of this video, we're just going to head straight down. So we'll speed it up a little bit here. And as I've been saying, if you do want to go and do the 3 peaks, then it's certainly worth considering what time of year you're going to do it. So if you do set off in June, around June 20th, 21st, 22nd, you're getting the longest day light. So it's possible to climb all 3 peaks, Ben Nevis, Scafell Pike and Snowdon in the daylight. Just set off about 5 o'clock at Ben Nevis in the evening, ascend basically back to your vehicle for about 10 PM, and then make the drive down to Scafell overnight, get here in the early hours, and if you time it right, the sun will be rising as you take on this climb, get back down and then head over to Snowdon, and you'll do all 3 climbs in the daylight. So it's you're not going to get lost then, because I do know people that have got lost on this one, on the second climb on Scafell, because they don't know the climb in the dark, can get disorientated. Again, if you're doing the 3 peaks, it's always good to have somebody with the knowledge of the 3 mountains in the team. I'll just have a quick stop here, just taking it's the river crossing. But because we've had such a dry June, there's not much water coming down the mountain at present. So getting close now back to the base and the National Trust car park. Just through the gate.
No bad days.
If you're coming from Wasdale, you'd be coming from the right here, but we're going down now. We're going to go back over the river on the left, but you can walk straight on here. So if you just follow the path straight on, that will take you straight back down to the car park. We're just going to go to the left so we can walk down the stream and then let the dogs have a drink. But as you can see there, look, National Trust car park straight on, and then to the left is Wasdale. But either side of the water, go back to the National Trust car park. So if we just head down the last few rocks and then over the bridge. There are toilets and you can get drinks. There's a little cafe and toilets at the bottom in the National Trust car park. Again, you can see from this video, there's not that much water coming down the mountain at present, but when the weather gets bad, it can flow very fast. So the dog's just getting a quick drink again. Ensure that you stayed hydrated. Suntan lotion, hat.
Here she goes.
And as you can see, then we're back at the sign where we started from, and there's Wast Water in the distance again. Thanks for watching. I hope that's been of some use if you're thinking of climbing Scafell Pike. And please give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps this channel out.